So welcome everybody to our webinar. Welcome everybody. It's great to be here on the second show or webinar on the Power Marketer. So we want to give you a chance to everyone that is connecting to join us. So feel free, settle in, grab a cup of coffee, got mine in here. So get ready because we're going to be sharing loads of things over the first few minutes. I am Nathan Manzaneke. Very nice to have you here. So enjoy your Easter and hopefully you're staying healthy. You're doing the right things. You're staying home and everything else. Today we have very useful tips that we want to share with all of you, as always. We're here to help marketers, and we really wish that these webinars and also our community will become a place where all marketers can meet and get inspired and inspire others and get to know and learn from each other.
Yes, welcome also from me. I am Laura Kokemäe, part of Powerful Marketers team, and I'm very excited about this webinar. I hope you also had the chance to check the last week's webinar because we discussed some amazing principles and ideas there as well. Did you enjoy last week's webinar, Nathan? What did you like about that?
Well, I certainly did. I did really enjoy it. So if you want to share those things, we want to hear from them.
Absolutely. So let's give it a few more minutes for people to get here. And also I'm looking forward to hear from our technical team if everything is working as it is supposed to work. And just, settle in and I'm sure we will have an amazing webinar ahead of us.
Absolutely. It's interesting to see also how things are developing with this COVID-19 thing. Because in different countries, there are different stages. Some of us are connecting from Southern Europe, in Spain, where lockdown is already more than 3 weeks, I would say. Mm-hmm. But in other places like Sweden, I don't think they're actually having any lockdown. In the States, they have a bit of a mix. How is that there in Estonia, Laura?
Yeah, well, I am at the moment calling from Spain, as you know, but I am Estonian, so my family and friends are in Estonia at the moment, and it is a bit easier there, I would say, because in Spain we are in complete lockdown for already week 4, if I'm not mistaken, which means that here we can only go to like a grocery store or a pharmacy. We can't go to office or to the beach or even like running or walking. It's just strictly stay indoors. Whereas in Estonia, I know that still it is allowed to go to offices, whereas many offices have encouraged people to stay at home and work remotely, but it is not like illegal to go. And also it's allowed to go to like parks and go running and outside, I mean. So there are some restrictions, like schools are all also done at home, and no like cinema or like anything fun. But I guess it's a bit easier in Estonia because the population is a lot smaller, and there's more room for everybody to be outside and just like breathe the fresh air.
And I would say in Spain, it's been a bit of a roller coaster for many people, because over the first few days, it was a bit of a joke. I think it was a little bit like an experience, like, I don't know, maybe holiday. So having some extra days in there that people were doing just nothing or watching lots of movies and taking it like very light. But gradually, I would say after the first couple of weeks, I think people started to get a little bit more concerned and they understood that it's going to have an impact, and it became a bit more difficult. You could see on social media people feeling a bit more jumpy and coming up with a bit of extreme views and doing funky stuff. How do you experience that after the first few days and few weeks?
Yeah, I feel like the emotions have gone like up and down. At first it was like never mind, it's like a fun vacation, like you said. But I feel like now the reality has sunk in, and for many people it's very serious if they have lost their job or income, and it's understandable that there's a lot of stress around that. So I don't know, I think we're just like taking it day by day and hoping for the best. And of course, the main and the most important thing is that everybody is safe. And I believe we can remain safe if we all do our part and stay indoors as much as possible, because it will go over eventually. It's not going to last forever, and we'll just have to get through that together.
Absolutely. There's no alternative in a way, and that's the beauty of it, that together we are stronger and we can help each other. It's also interesting having seen how this has been a tremendous wake-up call for many businesses that maybe were not so ready for digital work, from remote work in some cases. So some of those business owners that have refused to look into it for a long time because they thought, what's the point? Now they're kind of scared, and some of them are regretting that they didn't look into those things earlier. So it's like a perfect storm for people that work on online marketing and digital marketing.
Yeah, and it's been a total wake-up call for everybody, I believe, because many professions which have been undervalued for so long are now the ones who are keeping all of us safe and pretty much alive. For example, grocery workers who are doing their best job at the stores, also transportation workers and so on. So everybody else who has this so-called, I don't know, nice hotshot jobs are staying indoors, and now the so-called basic needs are the most important thing. And I'm very thankful to all those people who cannot stay at home at the moment, because they are there to help us be safe at home. So that's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. And it's also very interesting to see how many people, they're kind of two currents. One, people that are very scared, very negative, and also people that are very helpful and are making loads of initiatives to be helpful. So they are doing webinars, these kind of trainings online.
Yeah.
They're doing these Facebook Lives, they're doing these things with a very positive mindset. They're trying to be helpful, to help each other to be more balanced in the way they look at things, and giving great tips. Then there are some people that are criticizing people that are being out there. They say, oh, you do those webinars or you're doing those trainings because you want to profit from this, which is, I think, in a way, is different reactions to the same reality.
Absolutely. But I love that mostly people are coming together in this negative situation. And this every evening 8 o'clock applause that is happening in Spain, I feel like it's so heartwarming to see everybody together. And that's what we need to do. And that's why we are also doing these webinars, to share our input and ideas, and hopefully inspire some of you out there. And through that mutual support, we can all get out of this crisis stronger. But I believe we can start the webinar now.
Let's do it.
Think.
Good. Shall we start by reminding what we're doing?
Absolutely.
And also to repeat, some of you might already have joined. But for those that are joining now, welcome. We hope that you're safe and you're okay, that you are enjoying. And also there is this invitation that we are extending every Friday. We want to be that place that is a support place for you as a marketer, where you can be inspired, you can share things, you can feel a part of a larger team of marketers worldwide, and hopefully you can contribute and you can get great ideas, and so we can learn from each other.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Laura, and this is Nathan, also my co-host. And we're truly very excited to have you here. And I wish that you will have a nice Easter weekend, which is ahead of us. And let's do this. Please be active during this webinar. Share your thoughts, share your ideas in the comments under the YouTube video, or in the discussions inside our system, because by being active, you can inspire other marketers out there, but also you have a chance to win free enrollment to the Powerful Marketer program. And if you don't know what that is or why you should want to win this, then keep on watching. We will share a bit more about that, but it is really an exclusive opportunity. And we encourage everybody to be active and comment below. And we will choose one winner on Monday, the 13th, if I'm not wrong. And we will announce that in the Powerful Marketers community. So start commenting.
Absolutely. Want to hear from you. It's so exciting. I wish I could be one of those winners. So nice. So give it a go. And let's remind ourselves, why are we here? Well, we're here to discuss ideas that can help us with challenges that are very real to us as marketers. So let's talk about those main challenges that we're experiencing during this crisis, but probably they're common to any crisis that we can face. Because now, particularly because of this coronavirus thing, our jobs, our companies, our daily lives have been disrupted. They have changed all of a sudden. And most likely, you are working remotely right now, and that comes with a few struggles, particular to this situation. For example, comes to mind, if you are a family person, maybe you are starting to find the balance, you have all the kids running around when you're trying to concentrate and deliver great work, and that's tricky to have those working hours work for you, or maybe to stay motivated. Maybe for you, the difficult part is to feel positive when so many news are not so positive, or to finish things, to get things done, not to be overwhelmed with the crazy amount of information. We're going to be talking about that later, or how to carry on with marketing inside and outside of the company. And maybe the question today is, should we do nothing? Maybe we should hold from doing everything in marketing. Again, we're going to have some input afterwards, or maybe we have to wait to see what happens, how the situation unfolds. At the same time, you know that, and I'm sure you're very convinced that if you do nothing, the risk is you're not going to be able to come stronger at the end of this situation. So how do you feel, Laura, about this? Should companies put their marketing completely on hold and just wait to see how things go? What government measures are implemented, or what activities they should carry on? Is there any ideas from an expert like yourself in marketing that we could implement?
Yeah, that is a very good question. And I understand people who would want to wait and see what's going to happen, because there are many news coming in every day and new restrictions, but at the same time also new opportunities. But the risk with waiting and doing nothing is that for your customers, you are just gone. You are under the rock, you are nowhere. And that can really make your company look in a bad way. So my advice is to not cancel all of the marketing activities, but for example, you can put on a hold things that are not immediate. For example, long-term plans, strategy, all of those things that don't need to go live tomorrow. You don't have to deal with them at the moment. Let's say that you've been working on a rebranding campaign, or you've been thinking about ordering new labels or signs to your physical store. Well, that can wait, obviously. Just take your time and focus on the things that need your attention right now.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice, because I'm business owners and marketers right now thinking, what do I do with those budgets and with those things that we had planned? But also maybe we should have a look closely at all those things that were pre-programmed, or any automated processes that we had already implemented, because some of those messages might be irrelevant, or even worse, maybe something that we plan to say or to share now is offensive, or maybe can make somebody feel upset because of the context we live in, because people are confined in the house. And maybe you have a service on your website that is encouraging traveling, and people can't get on a plane, and then people are going to feel upset instead of uplifted. Or maybe you have a welcome message on a newsletter sign up that is no longer appropriate. So maybe absolutely agree on the long term, but maybe we have to be a bit more on the ball on the short term as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree again. because those automated processes can really harm you if they are not like taken a closer look at the moment. And right now it is all about communication. So marketers also need to think of other responsibilities that they have, not just marketing campaigns and ads that are most likely either cut at the moment or put on hold. But communication is the basis of everything. And now is the time to be proactive in your communication to help customers feel safe again. There's so much uncertainty and people really feel like their safety needs are not met. And if you think about the classical Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where at the bottom we have basic needs, then everybody is there right now. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's feeling uncertain about the future. And now is the time as a marketer to show people that it's going to be okay, reassure them, share ideas and information that you may think is like logical. People do not know that. People don't know if your store is open. Can they order online? When is the delivery time? What about orders that were placed before the crisis? And so on. So share information to minimize panic and share facts, because there's so much speculation and confusion out there.
Absolutely. It's so important, isn't it, to do that, to have a tactical plan for the short term, so marketing activities are not left out and we're proactive. We have to adapt very quickly to what's going on. Things are changing, new communications from governments, from authorities, and even if anything we do revolves around communication purely, that's still important that we do that in difficult times. We need to keep our employees updated, our colleagues, our clients, and if we are just completely out of the picture, then we miss a big opportunity. We can't hide under a rock or hide in a cave because things are tough, because people are not going to trust us so much when they come out of this lockdown situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also don't forget to communicate with your team if you have a marketing team, because right now there can be the danger that you create even more confusion and chaos if you haven't clarified the responsibilities within the team. So my advice would be to have a quick follow-up meeting every day and just discuss with your team who is doing what, when, why, and so on, and agree on the responsibilities, support each other. Just take it all like to the simplest steps, because when people are stressed, they can't handle a lot of complex information. We need to just agree on the basics, just short bites of information, and we can go from there. And just be willing to change your long planned activities if they're no longer relevant, and only continue with activities that help people feel safe again, that clarify confusion and that are relevant.
So that's great feedback. I think that's a great thing that all business owners, all marketers should implement, because it gives you that sense of direction that we need. But there's also, I think there's a conflicting situation in most businesses right now, because on the one hand, you have the business owner that is trying to manage budget, cash flow, and they're really worried about the situation, or they're starting to be worried about what's going to happen at a later date. So they're now thinking, should I cut all marketing? Should I cut all possible costs ASAP? And on the other hand, they still need the marketing so much more than ever, because they need the market intelligence. They need to know what's going on in terms of communication. Is that right? Do you perceive that as well, that there is a big conflict going on?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a huge conflict going on, and it's natural because business owners are very worried at the moment, and rightly so, because for many of them, there is either no revenue or the revenue has declined a lot, but at the same time, the cost has remained the same. So I understand their worry a lot, and they also have to think about their team. They have to now manage their team who is all working remotely. They have to motivate their team. They have to ensure productivity somehow. They have to create these video meetings and so on. So there are technical issues, and it is a confusing and a stressful time for sure. But I believe that both the business owners and the marketers need to be flexible and able to adapt to the changes. And marketers right now can support business owners by giving them great suggestions and great, how to say, like intel, like how and what to do in marketing, because business owners are struggling with so many things anyway. And if you go to them as a marketer, if you are being proactive, then it will really help them feel at ease, and they can, both business owners and marketers can find a common language to just, to say the least. I don't know how to put it in English at the moment, because as you can all tell, English is not my first language.
Well, you have beautiful English. Let's make that sure. You have beautiful English. And I just love the point that you were making, that it's not easy for marketers in a way, because you notice the uncertainty in the business, and that can create anxiety or uncertainty within yourself. By the way, if you're feeling that way, you should really check PMP or Module 1 or the webinar that we just did some time ago. But it's so important, it's so critical that we stay on the ball, that we are aware and we recognize those challenges. So I would say, as an invitation for you, share them. If you can jump on the Powerful Marketers community on Facebook, share those ideas, those things that come to your mind, those challenges, those struggles that you're having. And I would open that question: what are the biggest fears that marketers are experiencing right now? It could be afraid of losing your job. Is that a valid concern? Do you think that that's something the marketers are facing now?
Well, I'm afraid in today's economic climate, nobody is guaranteed a long-term employment. And marketing is very often one of the first departments to get the cut when things go bad. So I understand the worry that marketers have, but I would encourage everybody to ask themselves, is it really highly likely that you will lose your job? Is your company struggling? Is it likely to go to bankrupt? If yes, then now is the time to think of a backup plan. Now is the time to work on yourself, to grow your knowledge and skills, and be ready for the next opportunity that's going to come along. But if your company is still active, maybe struggling, but active, then it is your job as a marketer to be proactive and make suggestions to the board, what to do to help minimize costs, what activities need to be put on hold, what activities need to be kept active, how to manage communication, and so on. And your boss will really appreciate you taking this responsibility and stepping up, because it will also help the company get out of the crisis. And as a marketer, that is your goal as well, because that way you can keep your job.
That's awesome. That's a really valid point. And it empowers marketers as well. And that's the reason we're here today anyway, because we want to talk about these 3 emergency marketing principles that can really help our businesses. So why do we say emergency? Well, I would say it's because these principles are timeless, they are universal, they could work in any crisis, but especially helpful when at the point that we are right now, because these are hard times for most businesses. And we get it. There's so much confusion, so many fears out there right now, and fear spreads like fire, way faster than hope. And it's natural to be worried. So maybe you're questioning yourself whether you are making the right decisions. Maybe you're afraid of stepping up and taking more responsibility. What if you get it wrong? Or maybe you're uncertain about the quality of the information that's coming in. So do you feel like that? Do you feel like there's no impact from your work? There are no actual results? Or do you feel that maybe you're drowning through all this pressure and a bit overwhelmed? I would open this question, Lara. How can a person help himself or herself in this situation? What could we do if we notice these things going through our minds?
Well, it is really about the subconscious mind, actually. And by that, I mean that when the situation is critical, for example, right now, when we have either too much information or too little information, then what we do in our decision making is we rely on our subconscious. And our subconscious comes from our previous experience, from our previously learned behaviors, and so on. So that is what we are really falling on right now during the crisis. These are the mechanisms that support us. So now is the time actually to make sure that you are in control of your subconscious mind, and not that your subconscious mind is in control over you. You need to know how to control yourself and how to rely on yourself. Otherwise, fear takes over. And I really love this quote by Winston Churchill. Fear is a reaction, but courage is a decision.
Wow, that's a powerful quote. I love it. Easier said than done in a way, because fear is something very human, but still it's very powerful to make that decision, to take courage. But how can people do that? How can people take ownership of their subconscious mind, and what kind of information, what type of information can help them to make better decisions and work better for them? How can they improve and have a bigger impact on the subconscious mind? What would you say?
Well, I think that leads us to the first principle, which is that right now we need to go back to basics. And psychology is really the foundation of ourselves as a people, but also for businesses. And when we are under stress, like in the middle of a crisis, these are really the things that we fall back on, like I said before as well. And right now we need to focus on the basics, on the fundamentals. We are all starting from the blank page. We are all now struggling with our safety needs. And if you think of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we are now all at the bottom where the safety needs are. And I really like drawing this parallel from Maslow's hierarchy of needs to a great concept that we thought about in the Powerful Marketer program, which you can now see on the screen as well. It's the business house concept, and it shows that the foundation of any business is always psychology, people, and also your ability to lead others. And on top of that, we have different departments inside a business. And then in the so-called roof, we have clients and results, money, success, fame, and so on. And now is the time to shift the focus from the roof, or so-called money, success, fame, and so on, to psychology and to people, and just start all over again, start building a very strong foundation for a business.
I mean, it's a great concept, and I have to say that it's super interesting for everyone, not just for marketers. But I've got a bit of a question here that maybe reflects what is out there in the market. How can someone that is in business use this powerful concept or this shift? And I'll tell you why. Because I bet that many people are feeling right now that they're doing more work than ever before. They're more connected, the workload has increased, they are multitasking every day. Every minute they feel that they are busy doing things with tasks, with family, and they are constantly putting out fires. So how can they do it if they're starting to feel, I have no time to change my strategy or to refocus what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, multitasking has definitely been glorified for years. And people believe that the ability to do multiple things at the same time is a great advantage, and it's a skill to have. But the fact is that multitasking is actually bad for your brain. Your brain is not designed to multitask or do several things at the same time. Your brain is designed to focus, and that's when your brain is the happiest, and also how you can be the happiest. And this notion of trying to do everything at once or trying to be super productive is actually causing all of us a lot of anxiety. And just don't do it, is my advice, because multitasking causes you to think and act out of time. And that pretty much eradicates any grounds for creativity. And what you need right now is creative thinking, how to come out of this situation. And by just doing everything all the time at the same time will leave no room for that.
That's so true. And it also means that tasks that require more from you, that require more problem-solving skills, they become harder to solve because you don't have the focus. And right now, we need all the focus that we can master on problem-solving. So I would say also, go back to the previous webinar that we had that dealt with principles that keep our mindset protected and strong, because we need to remain sane in this crisis and any other crisis.
Absolutely. And also take the time to shift your approach. And it doesn't have to be something super elaborate or super complex. Like you don't have to take weeks and months to craft this amazing plan to get out of this situation, because nobody has time for that. Just take the time to decide that from now on, you will put the focus on people and on psychology. Take care of people, and everything else is secondary. And if you really think about that shift in your approach, then all the answers will come to you. And if you will be there for people in hard times, you will come out of every situation even stronger. And you really can help prevent or minimize panic and reassure and calm people, and also boost your company's reputation through people inside and out.
I love it. I think it's a great first key to discuss. The first marketing emergency principle, go back to psychology. That is the foundation, and people should especially shift their focus from results and process to people by now. And this leads us to the second key principle. What is that, Laura? How can we help with this second principle?
Second key principle is that once you understand that we are all going back to basics at the moment, and that psychology is the foundation of everything, and you are really relying on your subconscious mind at the moment, then of course you need to feed your subconscious mind some valuable information. And there's a huge information overload right now, and the crisis has amplified that even more. Some years ago, I read that scientists calculated that one average human processes about 34 gigabytes of data each day. Can you imagine how much that is?
Yeah, I think that's like 34 movies maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's enough to actually overload and completely crash a new laptop within a week. And we go through that much data every single day. So that's crazy. And I believe that this amount of data has even increased during the crisis. And there's so much information from so many sources. Some are reliable, some are unreliable, some are questionable, some you don't even know if they're reliable or not. It's confusing.
And the thing is, so many companies have moved their business so suddenly from the offline into the online. And that has resulted in a bit of chaos as well. That's more information. That's even more overwhelming. I see at least 5 different online trainings on my Facebook feed every single day with so supposedly great ideas. So in time like this, it's so hard to differentiate between accurate, powerful information that is very meaningful, the right activities that we should pursue. So what is the safest thing to turn on? And what would you say that are those fundamentals in marketing that can give us and help us to see the focus, how to decide what is the right information and what is not the right information?
Well, as we said already before, it's back to basics. So with your fundamentals, it's also back to basics. I'm sure many marketers remember from their school time the theory of 4 Ps, with the original ones: price, product, place, and promotion. And that theory has, of course, gotten many additions over the years, such as process, people, physical evidence, and so on. And we actually also have concluded one more there, which is psychology. And the point of the 8 Ps is to be aware that marketing is not just about advertising and promotion. That's just one part of that, 1/8 of that. There are so many other areas that need to be covered. And if you're facing a lot of confusion in your marketing right now, and don't know what to do, what advice to follow, what trends to follow, and so on, well, then I just suggest start with the basics. Think through all the 8 Ps in your business's context and base your decisions on that, a proven theory.
Okay, that's great feedback as well, because some marketers might have forgotten about the Ps, but it's great advice. And you mentioned there's something very interesting. You said that before the business should shift from money and clients generation to psychology and people. But I have this funny feeling that many marketers are so set in their processes, in those wonderful client funnels that it's taken so long for them to build, that now it can seem very intimidating. So you're telling me that after all that work that I put in to achieve those wonderful funnels, you telling me that I should break them apart? Or what are your thoughts on that? What would you say to marketers that are thinking right now, oh gosh, what are you telling me?
Yeah, I get that. It's of course very hard to break something that you have spent maybe years building. And it's a very human feeling to have, and it's also part of our psychology. However, if you look at this crisis as an opportunity and not just some negative thing that impacts us all, then this is actually your chance to start again with a blank page. All of your competitors are also starting with a blank page. And those funnels that may have worked before the crisis, most likely do not at the moment, or may not in the future, because we are all changing every day, and this crisis is going to shift and transform many businesses. And we need a more flexible approach. And that's what we created in a Powerful Marketer program. We created the client journey flywheel.
That's really cool. Can you explain a little bit more about the client journey flywheel?
Yes, you can see it on the screen as well. Thank you, Nathan. And the basic idea is that the client journey process is actually not a funnel with one destination. And if the client reaches that, then the journey would be over. It's not like that, actually. It is more alive and essentially an ever-going process. And that is why we have illustrated that as a circle that's going on and on and on and on. And if you look at the first step of this flywheel, it's marketing and information, because everything starts with informing, making your clients thirsty for more valuable information, nurturing your future and current clients with juicy, interesting, inspiring information. Just communicate openly and honestly, and you will help your clients so much thanks to that. Once they have enough information, your clients move on to the second step, which is where the sale begins. And your job there is to help the client reach a decision. And this is also where the sales and customer service department takes over. If you have one in your business, or if you are that person anyway, then this is just a process that takes over. Moving on is the next step, which is something crucial that many businesses tend to forget, and that is the follow-up experience. Once your client has done the sale, this is not the end of their journey with you. This is actually just the beginning. And you need to ask for your client's feedback. You need to listen to them. You need to make them feel important and that you care about them. And that is really the basis of a long and happy relationship with your client and your business. And moving on, the fourth step is the quality process. With all the feedback you get from different customers, you need to look for the patterns. You need to identify areas of improvements and create a list of issues that are important to your clients. And you need to make those things happen, which the clients have suggested, because that way clients can be sure that they are listened to, they are important, they want to recommend you to their friends and colleagues and so on, because you care and it shows. And after that step, the journey starts again. And with it informing, and this is also the phase that most companies are in at the moment due to the crisis. And right now is the time to inform your customers what is happening. And communication and leading the changes that are happening weekly is crucial at the moment.
Absolutely crucial. more than ever, I would say, in terms of crisis. But if you want to create a great strategy, there is a fundamental principle. So if you want to create anything like a client journey flywheel that really works for you, you need to do some auditing, don't you? So I don't think you can start any strategy unless you know what's working, the results that you have with different strategies, and what your competitors are doing. Can you do that? Could you be successful unless you do the audits?
I think the word audit is a bit scary for many marketeers, but it's not actually just something that is done in the financial institutions. I believe that everybody should audit both themselves and also their activities in marketing, because marketing is not just a fun and creative wonderland, which it is, by the way, but there's also another side to that, and that's the land of the numbers. And it's really a numbers game, and it is wise to base your decisions on proven facts and data, not just your gut instinct, because that can, yes, show you the direction, but it's not gonna tell you for sure if something works or not. And that's why I'd say regularly monitor what your competitors are doing, what your customers are doing, what is happening in the industry in general, and so on. And this auditing process does not have to be a very complex process that takes months to plan and prepare and then implement and so on. Because right now, this is not where you should put your focus. You should focus on the present and on the immediate future, not so much on the past, because like we discussed before, everybody's starting on a blank page, and that applies also to your competitors. So just do some small things on a regular basis that help you to understand what is happening around you with other companies, with customers and so on. And that will just give you a bit more clarity what to do. And through that, you will become a very strong time master.
Time master, I love it. I like the sound of that. So how can you become a Jedi time master? How do you do it?
Well, it all starts with a process, because if you think back to your childhood, when you went to a kindergarten or a school, then there were very strict rules. There were certain schedules and so on. And those rules are really there to help you. And the processes will make you feel safe. And right now, feeling safe is what everybody craves. So to be a time master, you need to have discipline and follow your set routines, and stop every day and think for a second what you should actually be doing. Ask yourself questions like, how do I know in which order to do things? Which of my goals are the most important at the moment? What's working well for me at the moment? What should I put my focus on today, tomorrow, next week, and so on? Just ask yourself questions and analyze, and don't run to the burning building and try to save everybody without a plan.
That makes so much sense. Because if you don't do that, if you don't follow that advice and don't stop to think about priorities every day, somebody else's priorities is going to take over. With so many distractions, so many notifications, emails, and things to do. And that leads us, I think, nicely to the third principle. How can we link that to this powerful solution that we're looking for?
Well, the focus right now should really be on problem solving and looking for solutions instead of just panicking and burying yourself under a load of never-ending tasks.
That's a very nice thing, a very nice thought there. I enjoy very much this EISENHOWER matrix, because I think it's a super simple, straightforward tool that we can use to help us visualize what's important and urgent, things that we have to drop everything else, and we definitely have to do those things. And then what is important and not urgent, and maybe we don't have to do it right now, we have just to find the time and schedule that time to organize ourselves and feel more motivated. And then what is non-important but still urgent, maybe we can realize I don't have to do those things. Maybe somebody else can do it if I delegate with the right process. And then The other thing, non-important and non-urgent. And sometimes we think about it this way with this Eisenhower matrix, and we realize, I don't actually have to do it at all. I can just get rid of that in my agenda.
Yeah, it's so funny that we kind of know these things already, and we know that they can be really helpful. But when you're in this situation of super overwhelm and stress and anxiety, you have so many deadlines and so many tasks in your to-do list, then we kind of forget about them. And we just think that if we work really, really hard and we keep on pushing, then that's the solution. But I think not. I think we should just be smarter and have a clear understanding what we should focus on, and forget about the things that we cannot change or that do not really impact our lives at the moment.
That's so true. And sometimes it's, as you say, not because we don't know them, it's because we don't stop. We don't stop to think a little bit more, to plan, to do frequent analysis, to do even simple audits of what we're doing. Not like, oh, a big audit. So why is it so important to have a structured schedule that includes auditing as a natural thing on a regular basis?
Well, auditing really forces you to think about the things that you usually don't have time to think about, such as what information do I need? Where can I get that information? Who can give me that information? Because as a marketer, there are definitely some areas in which you need input from either the business owners or sales department or customer service or any other department, because you need to see the whole picture to understand if you're making the right decisions in your marketing or not. Also, auditing helps you to discover any problems you may have in your marketing, any strengths, any weaknesses. It will give you a better understanding of your marketing plan, whether you are doing the right things, whether you should be doing something else, and so on. And it really helps you to make solid decisions about where to put your company's resources, especially at a time like this when resources have really shrunk. Yeah, so it's very critical to have a clear understanding of the things that can help you the most. And one last thing about auditing, it helps you to battle FOMO, or the fear of missing out, because you are not just constantly wondering anymore if I should be doing this or that or the third thing. You will actually know what has worked for you in the past, what has worked for your competitors, for the customers, and so on. And you can base your decisions on that.
That's great advice as well, because some people are jumping into every flashy new thing or concept, and that doesn't work. But the whole thing of auditing, let's be honest, let's admit this. Some people cringe and when they have the prospect that they have to do an auditing, because in their minds there's something very daunting, especially if you don't have a structure or a clear way to do it. So the question for many marketers is, how do I do it? How do I do these audits right now and plan for these activities? And I love that in Powerful Marketers program, there are two great recommendations. But one of my favorites, when you think about, whoa, this big audit thing, there is a tool for that makes it really easy, really simple. And when you want to do a bit more in-depth audit, like an annual audit, you can use the result technique, result. That is an acronym for all key activities that we have to plan. So you are happy that you're not forgetting anything important. And it stands for result. The R, review your competitors, what are they doing? The E stands for evaluate your activities. What is it that you're doing and what results you're getting? The S stands for seek out opportunities. Things like, even in a crisis, you can find very useful things that you can be doing. The U, utilize customer value, which in a way is part of the process that you defined earlier as well. And let go of barriers, things that might be holding you back as a business or individually as a marketer. And the last result, the last T, transform your business. Use that feedback that you're getting to actually change something and be closer to your clients. So that audit of how you build your customer journey flywheel really works. And by the way, there's a super cool video with you, Laura Cookmilk, explaining the result technique that is absolutely amazing. So if you want to find out how to actually implement this, watch that video into the free resources program that you can find in the same website where you signed up for this webinar. Really, really cool.
Well, thank you for that, Nathan. Yes, I agree that the result technique is very powerful and it's very helpful if you have time to really evaluate your marketing activities. And you should make time for that on a consistent basis, at least once a year. But most likely, right now, marketers don't have that time. Maybe if you are at home and forced to do nothing, then you may have. But what I wanted to say is that there is also another type of audit next to the result technique, and that's the monthly audit, in which you should track both yourself and your tasks, for example, with the EISENHOWER matrix, but also the results from your marketing activities, for example, social media, competitors, and so on. And right now, I wouldn't stress too much about performing this annual big audit. Just look at the things as they are going on. Things are happening daily, and there is no point in focusing too much on the past. Focus on the present and the immediate future. And everybody is starting from a blank page right now. So the things that your competitors did 2 months ago may not be that relevant anymore. And just decide on a few key activities that you can implement into your either weekly or daily schedule that don't take a lot of time, but can give you a real understanding of the situation. For example, tracking what your competitors are doing on social media, or tracking your website visitors, or online sales, whatever those 3 or 4 KPIs are for your business, just keep an eye on those and then go from there.
I think that's great, valuable feedback, Laura, because many people are kind of wondering, what am I doing wrong? Or maybe they are inactive, because fear can make you paralyzed. You freeze and you stop doing things that maybe you should be doing. So I think it adds a lot of clarity, that advice you're giving. Maybe hold on from long-term analysis and focus on the short-term. That's great. We have discussed some very important principles today. And these principles, I would say they're always true. They're not going to change, even if the crisis changes or the situation changes. But they're very especially important to focus on right now during the crisis. Like the first idea that we shared, psychology really is the foundation of everything. So when in doubt, focus on people and the basis right now. I really enjoy that key point that we discussed first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to add on that, think about your subconscious mind and how you can support it with fundamentals right now. And those fundamentals can be as easy as the theory of peace or the client journey flywheel, just some proven theories and research that will be the base for your marketing decisions.
Absolutely. And go and check the videos, the free series of videos with Lara Cookmilk. I think that really and also because it's not so easy to focus on problem solving, looking for solutions, audit yourself in the short terms, your activities on a weekly basis. That can be challenging. And going to those videos is going to help you. And as you go into the Powerful Marketers program, you can go in depth into how you can carry out great audits that are practical, they're not too difficult, but they really refocus yourself and help you to be in the market again. And remember that when you plan, that is economy of time. It makes you be one step ahead instead of being scared and, oh my God, what are we going to do? And a major crisis like today around the world makes things change so fast. And it doesn't need to be necessarily bad. You can get this as an opportunity. Let's start with a clean page, with a clean slate. Maybe it's not exactly a clean slate because you are in a better position than if you were starting your business from scratch, but it can really help you on a professional and personal level. Maybe not easy, but it's not going to be a short path, but still we can do it if we apply those 3 principles.
Absolutely. And of course, there's always a lot of support and opportunities for you to keep your professional knowledges sharp. And for that, I must say that one of the best communities out there is Powerful Marketers community. Not because I was involved in building it or anything, but all jokes aside, it is actually a very great community on Facebook, which already has over 1,000 members from different countries from all over the world, with marketers with different backgrounds. And I really love that marketers are sharing value there, sharing their ideas, asking each other questions, and so on. And I think that through sharing knowledge and ideas and being there for each other, we can really come out of this crisis stronger. So if you are not yet part of the Powerful Marketers community on Facebook, then please join. You will not regret it, I promise. We will take good care of you in there. And we will also announce the winner of the Powerful Marketer program pre-enrollment on there on Monday. So just go there, join, post something, share your thoughts about the webinar, share about your background, just be active. We would love to see that, and we will reward always people who are active.
You have to, you really have to. And it's so exciting to see people joining. There's also this chance of winning this free enrollment. I think that's crazy good. So check out this marketersprogram.com and be active. But maybe you're wondering, what is that Powerful Marketers program and how can it help me as a marketer? Well, let me put it this way. Let me share something a bit personal to see if I can give you a bit of an idea. I'm Nathan Manzaneke. I'm a business owner, but my background mainly has been in sales. I've been key accounting for companies, some small firms, some crazy big firms like DHL, for example. And one thing that I've learned before I became an entrepreneur is about the power of processes, of structure. But even with those processes, because the market changes so quickly, especially over the last 10 years, I would say, things that didn't exist 15 years ago now are, even now they are obsolete because they change like every few months. And I've made so many mistakes by not appreciating those changes that is crazy. And when I was an employee, it affected the way I worked. It affected my career as a sales guy, or when I had some competency in marketing, the way I was doing marketing. But as a business owner, it was my money at stake. And those mistakes, they hurt big time. So if I would have known those strategies or these ways to apply marketing principles that are consistent, even in times of crisis, it would have saved me such amount of hassle. And I would have been so more successful by applying those. So I would say it's crazy not to use that market intelligence. And instead of having to go to a million places and do all these seminars and webinars and coaching processes, if you can have it all at once, like this PMP program, that's awesome. I wish I would have that when I was in my 20s or a few years ago.
That's amazing. Thank you, Nathan, so much for sharing that. And I'm so happy to hear that the Powerful Marketer program has inspired you so much, because it has also inspired me a lot. I used to be in a completely different mindset before the Powerful Marketer program happened. And what I mean by happened is that I pretty much lived through it in the past 5 years. I used to be in the mindset that working hard really is what gets you far in life. And the more hours you put in working, the more farther you're going to get. And then at some point, some person will come, a magician, who will say, well done, you have now earned all the dreams and successes which you have desired. Now is the time, now rest. Well, I did that for a while. And then I realized that, well, that miracle did not happen to me. And what happened instead was a lot of unhappiness and frustration, because I wasn't where I wanted to be. I didn't feel confident. I felt like I had not enough experience, not enough knowledge to be sitting at the same table with big executives and so on. I felt like I had no leadership skills or communication skills. And I was just hoping for a dream that would never come true. And then I shift the focus from this working really hard mentality to starting with myself, starting with the basics, with psychology, and with my own mindset, how to overcome my limiting beliefs, how to grow confidence, and so on. And from that, I went on to feed my subconscious mind with knowledge that is timeless. Much of that is also what we have discussed today. And from there on, building your professionalism using powerful tools and strategies, learning communication skills and leadership. And that is all what has helped me to really transform my life. And I'm very grateful to that. And now all of this process has been put into the Powerful Marketer program. And it is an online training program, a tool for every marketer who desires to live the life of their dreams, to really grow personally and professionally. And it has 5 key areas. Yep, Nathan is putting it on the screen. Perfect.
Oh.
The 5 key areas that the program covers are mindset, subconscious support system, professionalism, communication literacy, and action and leadership. So all of the steps that I described in my story, and I really believe that these steps are super beneficial to every marketer who desires a big growth in their life. And we have over 800 minutes of audio-visual learning material, and that's approximately 15 hours of videos. And we just didn't want this to be one inspirational moment in your life where you listen to the videos and you're like, oh, it makes so much sense. We also wanted it to be practical. So we have added 55 action items, so different tools, templates, tests, downloads, which you can implement in your life right now. So I believe it's super powerful.
It is super powerful. And you might be thinking, well, I'm not sure if this is the right time for me, because we got this crisis going on, or you may be feeling, I'm not sure if I got the time or the mental energy to do this. But here's where I think, if we don't take these opportunities, that's a strategic mistake that may be haunting us and not holding us back from success for maybe many years. So if we have a little bit of time now, and we let ourselves down and don't use this time to grow as professionals and as people, we're going to be so disappointed with ourselves later. I'm really convinced this is the time to decide if you want to waste your time on something relevant, or you want to actually invest your time into something meaningful. And let's make no mistake, crises are the best times ever to continue working on yourself. So let's forget about tomorrow, mañana. Let's act today. And the real question here, I think, is it worth for us taking a few minutes of your time to check this out? Even if we only do half of what we're saying we do, isn't it worth it to do this? And I believe it is. It will pay for itself 1,000 times.
Yes, and remember that in hard times like these, we always have 2 choices. Number 1 is to wait, do nothing, and see if something magical is going to happen. Maybe some miracle will happen. Well, I waited for that for a lot of time, and it didn't happen to me. But I mean, it's possible. But sooner or later, unfortunately, another crisis will come. So the second option you have is to take a leap of faith, to test yourself, take responsibility, learn, and look for a way out of this situation, and prove to yourself and others that by remembering and applying these 3 principles which we have discussed today, you're able to come out of this crisis stronger than ever.
Absolutely. And I think it's kind of like when you go to the gym or when you do exercise, no pain, no gain. So you receive as much as you get from it. Now is the time. There's no question about that. You have to work right now on your success. So you are the one that is prepared and ready to come out of these difficult challenges we are facing, but stronger. So act today, and it will have an important advantage over everybody else that it may be sitting at home and doing nothing during this crisis.
Yeah, and PMP is definitely not for everybody, because not everybody has the vision and the drive and the hunger for growth. But if you do, then please check out marketersprogram.com. And there is a limited time possibility at the moment to watch module 1 completely for free, because it is all about psychology and mindset and how you can help yourself during these difficult times. And we really wanted to put it out there for everybody who is in this position. And the module 1 includes around 3 hours of valuable video content about psychology, mindset, crisis management, building confidence. And there are also extremely powerful tools and templates you could start using right now. So really, there is nothing to lose. And if you're even just curious, then do yourself this gift of growth and go check it out. And if you like it, then I believe this is the beginning of something wonderful for you.
That's a massive, massive learning that we have in there. Massive opportunity. Module 1 for free. So how do you feel, guys, at the end of this webinar? I think it's great value, great ideas that we can implement straight away. Great content that we're delivering for free as Module 1. And thank you so much for joining. I think you got plenty of opportunities to make use of. So have a happy Easter weekend. If you're watching this webinar while we still are on Happy Easter, if not, be happy anyway. Stay at home, stay safe, and stay inspired. And we will see you on our next webinar.
Yes, thank you, everybody. And I look forward to hearing from you and connecting with you. And we will see you soon. Take care.
Bye, Marketers family.
Bye.